Satu really needs to work on his naming sense. I mean, he called 3 new characters Lisa, whatever how you say her name, Pochi, and Tama. Like, Pochi's straight up dog, Tama's basically a kitten, and Liza or Liza, however you pronounce her name, it's based off of lizard. Like, could you have made any more of a generic name than that? Like, seriously, Satu, what's wrong with you, my dude? You're like a level 310 player in this, world right now. You're overpowered, but you can't name someone properly. Okay, anyways, though, with that being said, let's talk about the demon that was introduced at the end of this episode. Asta has some competition. Now, if you don't know who Asta is, or you don't know who I'm talking about, or if you do know who Asta is, well, I'm talking about the voice. The voice of the demon in this episode was atrocious. Now, that's my personal opinion, obviously, but the voice was... my ears are bleeding. Like, my ears was legit bleeding. I was like, please, stop. I had to turn down the volume of my TV because it was that loud. It was like a screech in my ear. I'm like, please, stop. Like, stop. Like, it's bad. But at the very least, it's not as bad as Asta's voice actor. So I will give, points there when it comes to the demon, but overall, though, just the voice, no. No. I really, really hope that's not a reoccurring character that's going to be around for a while. I do hope that is a demon that gets just wiped out and is, gone from the series, because that voice, no, not working for me. I'm not feeling that voice at all. Now, let's talk about the overall CGI of it. Oh, that looked atrocious. I'm just going to say, like, it didn't look that good, but it doesn't really ruin the episode, but oh man, the design of that demon. Just like, I like the design, CGI part of it, no, but I do like the design. I do like that. But anyways, let's get into some good stuff. Let's talk about this episode of Death March, episode 3. So, like always, this is, the question I want to ask. Are you going to drop, or are you going to continue this series, since, this is the 3rd episode, and if you're following the golden rule of anime, the 3-episode rule, then this will determine if you want to continue or not. Now, I can see why many already want to drop the series, because number one, it's, a alternate world type series, focusing on a character inside of a game that's very OP. It is something that we see almost every single anime season. It is nothing original, and so far from what I've seen from the first 3 episodes, it doesn't really stand out that much. I mean, it does look to be more on the adventure side and sightseeing side than the action-orientated side of the series, but even then, though, it isn't anything amazing for what I've seen thus far. As anime only, my first impressions overall after watching the 3 episodes, it's just a standard alternate reality anime. That's it. And I can see why many might drop the series right now, because it hasn't really tried to stand out in any really big way. I mean, at this point in time, when we were like watching ReZero, for instance, a couple of years back, ReZero at episode 3 was already very shocking and just very different from what we normally expect, and it was just amazing. And so, yeah, I can see why many might say, I'll put this on hold, I'll wait till more episodes build up, or many might say I want to drop it. But on the same side, though, I have heard a lot of good things about this series. I am a sucker for, gaming anime. I am. I admit that. I am a sucker for that. And even though I am a sucker, though, doesn't mean I'm always going to watch them. I will admit that as well. But I don't think so far from these first 3 episodes it's done anything that really has made me angry. It hasn't really made me like to where I want to drop the series. It hasn't been very annoying. I mean, it's had a little bit of cliches here and there, but overall, it's nothing that really just destroys my immersion with the show. Now, a big plus that I've noticed from especially this 3rd episode of Death March is that all of the main female characters, yes, since this is an alternate world type series, there's obviously going to be some form of harem, there's obviously going to be some form of romance and stuff building up. That's just what these series usually come with. It's expected now in this day and age. And the female characters that have been introduced since like the 1st episode now into the 3rd episode, they're not really annoying. Like, normally at this point in time, I'm very annoyed with certain female characters. I just want them to shut up, or I want them to just be out of the series, or I just want them to not be even in an episode, and I don't really feel like that so far. Now, this could obviously change. Like, next episode could come out, and I could probably hate Liza or something. Maybe I would hate her. But for now, though, after the first 3 episodes, I like them. I don't think they're really that annoying. The only character I think that's kind of lacking or just very bland and just like meh is just probably, I'm assuming, the main female character, the one blonde, the military girl. I'm assuming she's the main female character. Unless it's the, the girl Liza or whatever, she could possibly be, but I don't know. Regardless, she's the only character, like the military girl, she's the only one that's a little bit bland and not really amazing or standing out at all. I mean, the other characters, even though they don't have, like, an amazing personality, they are not obnoxious, they're not annoying, and they just fit right in with the series and the main male character. They have this chemistry going on. For instance, at the end of the episode, with, how the main male character, he was actually giving them names, and giving them equipment, and then how he's interacting with them, with the head pats and all that. Just, it's very cute. It's a very cute segment of the episode, and so far, I think the series is on a proper path. It's nothing original, but it's on a proper path. Now, backing up a little bit, though, let's talk about the main male character and kind of all of the skills he has at his disposal. So this character, I mean, I know he's level 310. He's pretty much broken the game. I'm assuming he has broken the game at this point. And I'm also assuming that each individual, like, skill point he puts into an ability is probably, like, worth 1 point. I mean, I know there is some games out there, like MMORPGs, to where, like, if you're playing, sometimes, let's say, okay, here's the thing. Let's say you have 30 skill points, okay? You have 30 skill points, you're playing an MMORPG or a regular RPG, and you have, like, 2 different skills you can level up, okay? And let's just say you level up the first skill, takes 1 skill point. But then the time when you get to the second point, when you need to put in the leveled up even further, maybe it might take 2 skill points or 5 skill points to go even further. Like, for instance, there's a scaling of skill points to continuously level up that one ability. I'm very curious if this actual game, like, the main male character's in, has a scaling with the skill points, or if all of the individual, skill trees that he puts a point into, if it's only equal to 1 point. If so, that's kind of crazy. That's really crazy, and if I had to assume, judging by how normal games are, usually you only get, like, maybe 1 to 5 skill points per level. Now, I'm gonna assume he probably has, like, 300 and something, like, skill points. I'm assuming probably 310 with his level, and that would mean that he eventually will reach a cap of how much he can actually level up, which I feel like that's gonna lead to a problem eventually in this series, because he does level up a lot of his abilities straight up to max. I mean, he leveled up, like, kidnapping in this, episode or whatever, and then, he has all other little skills, miscellaneous stuff upgraded to the max, so I feel like he might eventually run into a problem. Now, I don't know if it's already been explained how many skill points he has. Maybe just the translators haven't, translated it properly. However, I do say that he's probably going to run into that issue one day. It's just bound to happen. That's just how games are. I mean, you got to figure out where you want to put your skill points into, because you can't put it into everything, or the game would be completely busted. But I don't know why I'm saying that when the game has already shown that it's busted, since he had a meteor right at the start that wiped out, like, a dragon god. So, yeah, I guess there's no real point in me trying to defend that and say, like, yeah, never mind. I take back what I just said, okay? I take back what I said. Anyways, let's talk about the Dragon God for a second. So, that, and I'm a little bit upset that I was kind of spoiled to that fact, because I was told last week that, he apparently defeated, a dragon god, and that's how he got to level 310. It wasn't just the fact that he, wiped out little fodder minions like level 50 lizardmen or whatever. It wasn't that simple. He actually wiped out a couple of, higher level dragon gods, or a god and a higher level dragons, to be able to be at the point where he's at right now. And this was told to me in my last review, like, before I actually uploaded it, I was told him and I talked about it. I'm a little bit upset I was spoiled, but at the same time, I'm going to assume that it was already revealed in the first episode. It wasn't properly translated. That's what I'm assuming, because I do know when it comes to translations, especially with stuff like this, when you have a big menu board, like in, an alternate reality, like anime series, usually the translations don't always cover every single piece of dialogue, and so I'm going to assume it was probably clarified when he was looking through his log the first time around in the first episode. We didn't get to see it, but if you were a Japanese watcher and you can read Japanese, most likely you'd probably already get that information. So, I guess, in a way, it's not necessarily spoilers, but at the same time, it is kind of spoilers if you're not if you can't read Japanese. I guess it's a little bit of a spoiler, but yeah. Anyways, getting off the topic of that, though, I do say that this episode was pretty intriguing, especially with the new characters that were introduced, Pochi, Tama, and, Liza or whatever. I like their characters, because I really like the design-wise. I like how, they're like 2 little children, and then you have the actual girl and all that, and then you have it to where they're going to be journeying with the main male character, and he's probably going to be teaching them how to fight, how to be a part of his party, which that's a big question I have. I'm very curious if those characters that were introduced, if they're going to be a permanent party member, like if they're going to be traveling around with him, because the way they're acting towards him in this episode is that like he's their master, like, you know, he now owns them or something. That's how they're acting towards him, and so I do wonder if they're going to be following him around, and if he's going to teach him anything, or maybe grind him up levels. I'm very curious about that, but yeah, and I also wonder if he's going to tell them his secrets, since he is revealing a little bit about his weapons and stuff. I'm curious about that. Oh yeah, let's also talk about how he used the body of the creature to craft that spear for Eliza. Now that was a really cool segment. I know many might not care about that at all. Many might just, you know, say, it's nothing important, but I like stuff like that. I've always been a big fan of shows that do stuff like that. They showcase how a character makes their weapon, or how they use like certain, you know, materials from a body or whatever to make their weapon, because that's what we effectively do inside of a game. When you're playing an RPG or whatever and you're making weapons, you got to use different, you know, pieces and materials from creatures. That's effectively what you're doing. It's just we got a visual representation of what we actually do in the game that we just don't normally get to see, and I thought that was really cool, just seeing how he was piecing together the different parts of, you know, the body, and then he had the spear ready. I thought that was just enjoyable to see. Now, besides that, I don't think there's really much more to talk about. I mean, we also have the stuff, I guess, with the people that were trying to start stuff in the town. That was a little bit weird, because, I mean, the way he just froze an unconscious guy in the middle of the crowd and all that, it's like, this is the guy that did everything, he started everything, and how everybody believed him. I'm like, what? Like, in, like, normal circumstances, you shouldn't believe a guy that just does something like that. Just the way he presented, you know, the dude threw him down while he was unconscious doesn't make sense. But at the same time, I gotta remember that this is in the game world, and he did upgrade his, you know, conversation stats, so he might be able to manipulate people and all that to sway them to his side to, you know, basically do whatever he wants. I'm assuming that's how he did it, but even then, though, it felt very weird to me in terms of just story progression. Just like, what? That doesn't make sense. But yeah, I want to end it there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload my next video, please, you know, click the bell icon down below next to the subscribe button. With that, I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe, stay warm, stay healthy. Chibi out.